dealing with a person who is a hoarder and they don't think that they have a big problem, don't even bother. You're not going to help them. Unless they're committed to really getting better, you're just going to be a nuisance and they're going to fight you every step of the way. It's kind of like an anorexic. The anorexic really thinks that losing all the weight is in her best interest, and convincing her otherwise is not really fruitful. And an egocentric or an overvalued ideator, as you could call it, I can't help them, unfortunately.
What other symptoms go along with hoarding, like perfectionism?
Sometimes. Generally, people who have OCD have some type of a smorgasbord of, associated problems. Anyway, let's talk about what do I do to help people. I think that it's important to understand that what we're doing is decreasing the brain's sensitivity to the basal ganglia, to the thalamus, to that part of your brain that can have the capacity to retch your stomach, to make you sweat, to make your heart beat rapidly. How are we going to tell that system that fires on its own beyond your logic and beyond your reason, how are we going to tell it that don't even bother, I'm not playing your game anymore? For the pure O, I have a variety of techniques, and there's not really one that works better than others, so I'll just kind of mention most of them. The first one is, well, let's say, is anyone here a pure O, by the way? You are. Do you mind telling us what nature of your spike is? Or would you rather not?
I just want to say something. This is incredible. It's my first meeting of a patient at CMHC over at Yale. I'm on a pass and I have to leave right now because I have to be back by 9 o'clock. I want to stay so bad it's not even funny because I'm a pure O.
Have Jim call.
Okay.
Is Joe there?
Joe Tillman, you could ask for.
Oh, ask for Joe.
Is 789-7334?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd just like to verify a lot of things that you've been saying.
I just need your first name.
Joe.
Joe.
Could you get me more water when you're done?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Steak?
Danish?
I wouldn't even know where to begin. You've touched upon so many things in my life already. I just want to say one thing about that chart you have up there. I agree with you 1,000%, and I'm living proof of it. I have learned to accept the spikes. And I didn't even know the word spike until tonight.
It's my word.
It's a good word.
Thank
It
you.
feels like a spike, and it might as well be a spike. I've learned over the years, though, that to let it go and to accept it, not even trying to push it out, but just accept it, make room for it, like you said. And what happens is eventually that unconscious part of the mind, the answer comes to you later. And I found in not going through the anxiety and not going through the thought, A, the thing I feared bad happening didn't happen, and B, the natural answer came back to me. To let you, I don't have one particular spike. Mine is a basic doubting. Doubting of past perceptions, ideas, thoughts, anything. And I'll give you an example, and this is one I use the most at the CMHC. Let's say recently I broke up with a girlfriend, and it caused me much stress, and all of a sudden a thought popped into my head and said, what does she look like? I went out with her for 2 years and I know exactly what she looks like. All of a sudden now with me, it takes away my memory and it pulls it over here and says, what does she look like? It wants me to go back now and prove what she looks like. And to prove what you look like, you have to go back and picture an exact moment that you and her were sitting across from each other at the dinner table, and while she was exactly speaking, but it might be torture to try and get back to that moment and get back to the exact vision of...
Is there a cost to not do that?
Yes. The cost to not do it is the OCD is right and you're wrong, that she doesn't look the way she appears to be. You're no longer in love with her, and your whole life is a lie.
Okay. And that's where I would feed into the first response, because what I'd have you say is, when you get the spike, what did my girlfriend look like?
Right.
I would have you say, maybe she was a dog, maybe I never loved her.
Right.
And I'm going to accept that possibility.
Right.
And so what you do is you don't answer it at all, but you answer it in a way that says, I'm going to meet your question with another question, maybe. And I think maybe is a very powerful word. Maybe I stepped in something on the way here that could give me AIDS, and maybe I'm dying right now, so I'm going to live with that possibility. And also, so if I die, I'll worry about it after I'm dead. That you respond to the prompt by not trying to do its bidding.
Right.
So I would definitely suggest that you'd say, well, maybe she was a dog. And each time your brain goes back and prompts you, which it will, because it's not going to just say, oh, that's a powerful response, so I'm going to tremble at the thought of your coming back with another one of those. I'm not going to spike again. Your OCD will undermine that. And so what can sometimes happen with this first thing that I called using the antidote, I kind of look at this spike as almost a poison. How can you neutralize the poison? And the way is to create ambiguity. So at first, I would say to a person, well, 1 or 2 times, say back to the disorder, the ambiguous response. Maybe she was a dog. And so what does your disorder say back to me now?
Oh, it's saying now that it's saying that your perception of her is wrong. So in fact, with me, it domino effects. It says my perception of her is wrong. My perception of yourself is wrong, and it comes back to myself. Maybe I don't look the way I appear to look. And like dominoes into everything.
So you would go into
total doubting.
Then what you could do as a second level response, yep, maybe I'm a dog too. Maybe the whole world's dogs. Maybe no one has ever loved me. And maybe I'm a schmuck, if it takes itself to that level. And at this response, rather than now going into an arm wrestling match, which your OCD will be perfectly capable of now consuming, it will take the treatment and turn it into a ritual. And that's what I see classically with PROs, is they'll take these responses and use it as a ritual, use it as a way of shutting off the spike. So I go from that point to what I call the flag technique. And what that involves is to say that you create a theme related to this spike. So any theme now related to looks. Every time my brain pops into a category related to looks, I'm going to let it be there and pay no heed to it and not answer it in any way. And what you can do is you can kind of like get the spike. I'll give you an example. I have a propensity to ruminate on certain things, and one of them about 2 years ago was this new relationship that I was involved in. And I was like really in love and excited, and like you never know how the other person feels about you, so you start ruminating. Like what did that mean? And what did that mean? So I'm driving home on an hour and a half commute, and I'm really driving myself nuts, and I'm really becoming disgusted. I'm like, look, this is really nauseating. So I said to myself, well, look, you're a specialist with this. Why don't you apply some of your own techniques? And so what I said was, okay, I'm going to do the flag technique. And any thought now related to this girl, anything, no matter how out there on the periphery, I'm going to flag it. And what I did was I said to my brain, and I'm a competitive bastard, so it's easy for me to do this. I said to me, you little son of a bitch, I know you're going to try to get me to ruminate about her. And now I know you're going to, so I'm going to watch for you. And so driving home, I'd be thinking about a new boat or this and that, and I would spike like crazy. And I'd look at it and say, gotcha. And then I'd go back to my boat. I'd go back to some client that I'm having difficulty with. Always knowing that it's coming. And what's very, very important is that you never say, oh, I got rid of it, now, it's not going to come back. Because the minute you don't have room for it to come back, it's going to hit you, it's going to catch you off guard, and you're going to fall back into the ruminating.
Isn't that submerging it in a way, though?
No, not at all. I'm saying, spike, you little son of a bitch, prompt me to ruminate about her. I'm saying you're definitely going to do it. I'm not going to be upset that you do. I know that you're going to try it, and I'm going to be on the watch for you. And when you do, I'm going to smile at you and say, fuck you, and go back to my boat.
And you think it's something better, and it's
Just shift. Allow myself to have had the thought, but not start to entertain it. And when I got home, I had done a pretty good job. I was about 80% rumination free, and I got out of the car, and as I was getting out of the car, I realized that I had started ruminating the last 5 minutes, And I shut the door, I was like, ah, shit, it got